In a quiet Ghanaian town lived Julia, the cherished daughter of the well-respected Mr. and Mrs. Hammond. She was the town's pride, graceful, well-educated, and raised with strong Christian and moral values. Her parents, especially her mother, were her protectors. "Not everything that glitters is gold," her mother would often say, a gentle warning about the world outside their peaceful home. By Julia's side, always, was Michael. They were childhood friends, a pair so close that everyone, including Julia's parents, saw a future husband in him. Michael was kind, honest, and patient, the steady rock in Julia's life. But for Julia, his quiet affection sometimes felt less exciting than the world she dreamed of. Then, like a storm on a clear day, Jude Barima returned to town. Jude was a ghost from Julia's past, a man whose charm was as potent as it was dangerous. They had shared a brief, intense romance years ago before he vanished, leaving Julia with her first real heartbreak. His reappearance stirred a whirlwind of emotions she thought were long buried. Julia's parents had always disapproved of Jude. They saw through his polished exterior to the arrogance and manipulative nature that lay beneath. But Julia was mesmerized. Jude's newfound wealth, his confident swagger, and the passionate way he spoke to her reignited a flame she couldn't ignore. She was so captivated by the glitter that she couldn't see the red flags waving frantically all around him. When Jude asked Julia to marry him, her parents put their foot down. They were deeply opposed, sensing a darkness in him that went beyond his past treatment of their daughter. But Julia, feeling suffocated by their concern, saw it as control. She was in love, or at least she believed she was. Determined to prove them wrong and chase her own destiny, she defied them. She married Jude Barima. The wedding was a grand affair, a beautiful spectacle for all to see. But beneath the layers of silk and celebration, a cold sense of foreboding lingered. It was in her parents' disappointed eyes and in the silent tears that streamed down her mother's face as Julia said, "I do." At first, life with Jude was everything she had dreamed of. His home was a palace, and he showered her with affection. But soon the beautiful dream began to fray at the edges. Jude grew secretive, possessive. He would take hushed phone calls late into the night and disappear for hours without explanation. Whenever Julia dared to ask questions, his charm would curdle into a harsh, cold anger. Then the shadows grew darker. Tragedy struck when Julia's mother died under mysterious circumstances. Not long after, her father narrowly survived a bizarre accident that felt anything but accidental. Julia's world began to tilt. A chilling suspicion took root in her heart, connecting these events to her husband. Strange visitors came and went from their house. Hidden documents would appear and disappear, and overheard whispers hinted at a life of crime and danger. A life Jude was at the center of. One afternoon, while Jude was out, Julia's trembling hands found a locked drawer in his study. Driven by a desperate need for answers, she forced it open. Inside, she found his secret world laid bare. Photographs, letters, and files detailing a life built on fraud, betrayal, and something far more sinister. Her blood ran cold as she read a document that chillingly hinted at her mother as death being a calculated act of punishment, a message to her parents for daring to stand in his way. In that gut-wrenching moment, Julia's world shattered. The man she had sacrificed her family for, the man she loved, was the monster who had stolen her mother from her. The glitter was gone, revealing only cold, hard, blood-stained stone. When Jude realized Julia had discovered his secrets, the mask of the charming husband fell away completely. His eyes, once filled with passion, now burned with a murderous rage. He became violent, his words turning to threats. He was determined to silence her, to bury his secrets along with her. Terrified and heartbroken, Julia ran for her life, a tidal wave of regret crashing over her. She ran straight to the one person she knew she could trust. Michael, her loyal, patient friend. Michael, who still cared for her deeply, didn't hesitate. Together, they pieced together the horrifying puzzle of Jude's crimes and bravely took the evidence to the authorities, knowing they were standing up to a very dangerous man. Jude tried to escape, but a life of deceit always builds its own prison. His criminal network crumbled as his associates, seeing the end was near, betrayed him to save themselves. After a dramatic chase that held the entire town captive, Jude Barrymore was finally arrested. Julia's courageous testimony, combined with the damning evidence she had uncovered, sealed his fate. The shocking truth of his web of fraud, manipulation, and murder plots came spilling out into the light, sending waves of disbelief through the community that had once been dazzled by his charm. The man who seemed to have it all was brought down by the woman he had tried to destroy. In the aftermath, Julia was left broken, but she was not defeated. She had lost her mother and nearly her father, and she carried the heavy guilt of her choices. But from the ashes of her pain, a new strength emerged. She had faced the darkest parts of human nature and survived. Throughout her ordeal, Michael remained her unwavering support. He didn't ask for her love or demand anything in return. He simply offered the steady comfort of his friendship and the gift of his patience. Slowly, over time, Julia began to heal. She learned that true love isn't a thrilling, dramatic performance. It's not about grand gestures or passionate words that sweep you off your feet. It's gentle, it's honest, and it's constant, like a quiet hand to hold in the dark. Julia's story became a dance, a painful but powerful dance between innocence and danger, deception and truth. It was a journey that taught her the difference between what glitters and what is truly gold. Thank you so much for watching this story unfold. If it moved you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel for more tales that explore the depths of the human heart. We appreciate your support more than you know. See you next time.